What's happening, friends? Welcome back to Dynamo DeFi. My name is Patrick, and on this channel I talk about cryptocurrency, decentralized finance, and economics. Today's video is about the Oasis Network and their Rose token. Oasis is a layer 1 blockchain that has some very unique and interesting features, as well as some of the biggest partnerships in the world of cryptocurrency. Today I'll go through what makes them so unique, why Oasis is a particularly bullish project right now, and then also I'll talk a bit about the first DeFi project that's launching on Oasis within the next few weeks. So first, let's get a bit into what makes Oasis so special. First thing is that they have privacy integrated with their DeFi. So they have private smart contracts. And to give you a sense of why that's important, when you use a normal blockchain like Ethereum or Bitcoin, and most of you, if you've been using crypto for a while, probably know this, anyone can see your wallet, what's in it. They can also see your transaction history. They can also see any data that you transmit over the blockchain because it's broadcast out to all the nodes. Now, this is great when it comes to things like transparency, but you can imagine that in certain situations, you would want a bit more privacy. For example, imagine if anyone in the world could see your personal finances, right? Or imagine if you were using some sort of financial product where you had to send them your social security number. In crypto, a lot of people, me included, like to imagine that we exist outside the world of normal finance. But at the end of the day, if we want mainstream adoption for DeFi products, eventually we'll need to integrate things like that. But there's no way to securely send out your social security number if you're broadcasting it to the world. That's why privacy is so important. So that's one thing that makes Oasis unique. The other thing is that they enable you to tokenize your data. And then this allows you to actually own your data and then stake it and earn rewards when people use your data. For an example of what this might look like, when you use a social media network like Facebook normally, Facebook is collecting data, everything you can imagine about you, things that you might not even know. And then they're using that data to sell their advertising product to advertisers. In other words, you are the product as the user. With Web3 and tokenized data, you could actually flip the script there, and you as the user would own your data, and you could choose which protocols were allowed to use the data to advertise. In exchange, you would receive rewards or a portion of the payments that people were paying to advertise. So that's pretty powerful and gives a lot more power back to users. Final thing that makes Oasis unique is they have parallel smart contract layers. They have something called paratimes, which can process different operations in parallel. For most networks, if you have a lot of people using the blockchain at the same time, the whole thing gets clogged up. With Oasis, you could have certain paratimes for specific transaction-intensive applications. Then you could have other paratimes that were used for other things. So that way, when you have one application that's using a ton of bandwidth, it wouldn't clog up the entire network. And I believe each paratime can support roughly 1,000 transactions per second. And the number of paratimes can be quite large, so you can imagine that by doing these things in parallel, the entire network could support thousands or even hundreds of thousands of transactions per second. A bit more on tokenized data. They already have a few case studies going on. Binance is doing a case study in tokenized data. They also have a Fortune 500 healthcare provider that is allowing people to share data with external parties while retaining control of the data and protecting confidentiality of patient data. Again, that's extremely powerful and allows you to use blockchain while maintaining privacy and security. So that's pretty cool. And then even more interesting, Oasis has some very large backers. So this is a data sheet put out by Messari, and it has the most commonly held cryptocurrencies across venture and hedge fund portfolios. Polkadot's number 1, Terra, Luna token, of course, is number 2. 2 very large projects, top 15. Then number 3, you have Near and Oasis tied. So Oasis is actually held in the third most portfolios of venture capital funds and hedge funds. I think this is a good example of smart money, right? It's actually held in more portfolios than Solana. And so when I saw this, I said, well, that means that other people who are doing research as well are coming to the same conclusion that it's a project with good prospects. Let's talk a bit about their partners now. So they announced a partnership with Meta about a week and a half ago. Meta, formerly known as Facebook. They haven't said exactly what the application of secure computing technologies will be yet, but that is probably the biggest partnership in cryptocurrency to date. And so that's really exciting, and hopefully that brings some more attention and use to Oasis. Some of their other partners that you might recognize are Binance, like we mentioned before, and also BMW Group. There's also a longer list here of various other partners. One other interesting one is Nebula Genomics, which is allowing people to take a genetic test and then maintain control of their own genomic data. That's very important. Let's talk a bit about their tokenomics now. So the tokenomics are, this is probably the biggest risk I see actually. The biggest risk in the project is that the tokenomics, most of the tokens are held by backers, core contributors, or the foundation. And then there's 5% for the strategic partners in reserve. Those together are 58%. 58%, so more than half of the tokens, and I think that is the biggest fear, especially because there was a large unlocked recently, and the price has not dumped since the unlock, but that is a risk if you're buying into this. As far as reasons why I'm bullish on the project, first is they announced a $160 million ecosystem fund just a couple weeks ago. Now, $160 million is, of course, a huge amount, but it's even more when you compare it to the market cap of Oasis. The market cap of Oasis, as of the time I'm writing this, or recording this, is just over $1 billion. And so, compared to the size of the market cap, $160 million is an enormous fund, right? That's funding a lot of development on the ecosystem. So hopefully we see some interesting applications, and because of their unique features with privacy and tokenized data, you can actually build applications on Oasis that you wouldn't be able to build on other networks. Another reason why I like it is that if you look at the stats on the network, which you can find at oasismonitor.com/stats, the number of accounts on the network has been growing steadily for a while, at least this month. But then over the past week, look at that. Complete shift, and it started growing much faster, and then actually, almost doubled in the past week, which is pretty impressive, and shows that people are moving onto the network pretty rapidly. And the reason they're doing that, I think, is that there's the first DeFi project launching on Oasis sometime in the next few weeks. And that project is YuzuSwap. YuzuSwap is a DEX that will be launched on Oasis. Their website is yuzu-swap.com. If you go to the airdrop section, they have some tasks that you can complete to receive part of their initial airdrop. The airdrop, admittedly, is a small portion of the supply, but I believe they'll have farming rewards after that, so you can use that supply to earn more Yuzu. They have a bunch of tasks here. And by the way, I have no affiliation with these people. I just think Oasis is a cool project. I did a video about how I was rotating some AVAX profits into there last week. They have some tasks that you can do here. And one of them is you have to tag 3 friends on Twitter. If you don't have 3 friends, feel free to tag me. I'll probably get a lot of notifications now, but that is all right. I don't mind. But I know some people have been doing this, and they're all primed to get their airdrop when this finally goes live. One other thing you'll need to know is that you will need to set up an Oasis wallet. So they have a unique wallet. You can go to wallet.oasisprotocol.org. I'll also post a link in the description. That's the wallet that you'll need to hold your Rose tokens. As far as places to buy them, you can buy them on KuCoin. I think they're on Binance as well, Binance.com at least. But I use KuCoin to buy Rose personally. That's all I got on Oasis. Let me know what you guys think about this project. Do you think that it's a good time to buy, or are you worried about the token unlock? And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter. That's all I got. Till next time, this is Patrick.